people coughing up body parts, paintings that are portals for ghosts, crow friends, and magical saint bones. Today we're going to talk about my past, present, and future of books, what I've finished, what we're in the middle of, and what we're going to get into. Okay, so first up, we have the book Underwater by Tara Meenan. This is a short little novella, and it's a story about the power of friendship and love and loss. And it takes place in Thailand, and it's about the friendship between these two girls. They explore the island and have all these beautiful experiences underwater, in the forest, and just all the things that they experience. It's Marissa and Ariel. And they had moved there after Marissa's mother died, and her father was grief-stricken, but he decided he wanted to finish his wife's research, so they go there, and they kind of get like a new start. It is a story about grief, but it's also about the beauty of friendship and the magic of it, and the way that even when you lose people, they still stay with you. And it was such a beautiful book. And it's also so, like, I would say it's fiction, but there's so many descriptions of death in it. Like, so the first thing you read when you come into it is this dream that Marissa has of like people in this restaurant, she's there too, and people just start coughing up body parts. And it's very descriptive and it's gross. And I was like, oh yeah, this tickles my horror heart. So even though it's not quite horror, there are horror elements to it, but it also has so much more, and it's so meaningful and it's so beautiful, and I enjoyed it so much. I would highly recommend it. It's a novella, it's short. I want to say it's like maybe 150 pages. And it's not too devastating, even though it's sad subject matter. Like, sometimes I've read books about grief that thoroughly upset me. This one was just really beautiful, and you kind of like feel the celebration of that friendship and the time you did have with the people that you lose. Okay. So now I'm in the middle of currently, or rather I've just started Doohickey by Stephen King. And this was one that I had on my Stephen King TBR for this year. So I am not usually one who does TBRs. I am a mood reader, and having to stick to like a scheduled reading thing is like, I don't know, it stresses me out. It's kind of bothersome. So that's why I only do like one readathon a year, and I don't really do TBRs. But I was like, I'm going to give myself a whole year to read all these Stephen King books. And so far we've read The Girl Who Loved Tom Gordon, The Talisman by King and Peter Straub, and then I got roped into reading Black House because, well, the third Talisman book comes out this year. So that kind of like got me a little bit off track with my reading here for that. So the books I have left to read are Doohickey, It, and The Institute. So we're doing Doohickey now because it's summer and it's got a beachy vibe, so I figured that would be, I don't know, a good read. So a little bit about Doohickey. I've heard that this is such an underrated book of King's. It follows the story of this guy, Edgar Fremantle, and he has an accident at a construction site. He loses his right arm. His brain gets all messed up, and, you know, and then his marriage ends. This happens in Minnesota, and he feels the need to have a change of space and place. So he rents a house on Doohickey, which is on the Florida coast. It's stunningly beautiful, eerily undeveloped. So Edgar gets down there and he slowly emerges from all that's been ailing him. He meets this woman, Elizabeth Eastlake. She is sick, and she's an elderly woman who has her roots deeply tangled in the place. Okay. And then as he heals, he paints feverishly, compulsively, and his talent is both a wonder and a weapon, because his creations are not just paintings. They are portals for ghosts of Elizabeth's past, and their power cannot be controlled. So that's basically like the synopsis for it. And I thought it sounded like a great read. I'm excited to read it. There could be some outdoor reading sessions, because why not? And then also, if you were curious about my full Stephen King TBR, I do have a video for that, and I'll link that down below if you want to check that out. Okay, so books I'm gonna get into. First up we have Bone of My Bone by Joanna Van Veen. And I have a hard time with this title because I am 5 years old, and I'm like, oh, your bone isn't boner. Sometimes the titles, you guys, they don't sit well with me, and I sometimes revert to an immature state of mind. I'm sorry, but I really like this author, so we're going to read it. Let's tell you about the book. A Skull's Grin is Eternal. The year is 1635. Sister Ursula, a young nun fleeing the ruins of her convent, and Elspeth, a sharp-witted peasant, they escape a band of marauding soldiers and disappear into the Bavarian forest. War scorches the land, and no one survives it alone. Amid the devastation, They find something in the arms of a dying man, the gilded skull of a saint. It is said that if you reunite the saint's skull with her body, a wish will be granted. Desperate for salvation, and each with secret desires of their own, Ursula and Elspeth follow a ragged map across the blighted countryside, but darkness follows them. A necromancer, drawn to the relic's power, the saint herself whispering in the night. And as the lines between blessing and curse blur, the women must face a harrowing truth. The magic they seek comes at a cost, because, come on, it always does. There's always a price to be paid when you mess with magic. And I think this sounds like it'll be a great read, so I'm excited to read it. I like the past 2 books that I read by this author, and I do have standalone reviews for the other 2 books of hers that I read, which was My Darling Dreadful Thing and Blood on Her Tongue. If you are interested in those at all, I'll link those down below too. Okay, so after that one we have Palaces of the Crow by Ray Nayler. I really love this author. I read 2 of his other books, The Mountain and the Sea, which is an amazing book. I have a standalone review for that. I'll link that down in the darkness. And then The Tusks of Extinction. It was a little novella, which was also really captivating and moving. And I have a standalone review for that too. So down in the darkness it will be. So this one, we meet a girl and she befriends, I guess, a murder of crows. And they help her and these other people she meets in this wartime to survive. You know, I've always wanted to have crows as friends. They bring me weird trinkets and stuff, but we don't have crows around where I live. I never see them. Maybe one day. Anyway, I digress. Let me tell you what this one's about. And if I pronounce any of these names wrong, I apologize because I'm not sure how to say half of these. Nuria is a young Jewish girl who dreams of becoming a biologist and has befriended a flock of crows in her shtetl. In her shtetl? I don't know. I think that's like a village. Seshla is an underage Polish soldier who escapes from the freezing Lithuanian woods after deserting the Red Army. Kezia is a Roma horse trader whose family is on the run from Soviet collectivization. As the German blitzkrieg crashes across the Lithuanian border in June of 1941, all 3 are caught up in the onslaught, along with Innokenti, an abandoned boy who cannot speak. They are driven into the primeval forest, where they survive by forming an unbreakable bond with each other. And with Noria's intelligent crows, who for years have been bringing her intricate gifts that suggest that they are no ordinary Corvids. As the war goes on, the crows warn the children of danger and help them hide from the human threats of the forest. Not only the Germans, but the Russian deserters, Polish partisans, fascist Lithuanian police, and the other bandits and outcasts wandering the benighted landscape. Palaces of the Crow blends history and haunting speculative wonder in a story of survival, loyalty, and the fragile beauty of life in the darkest of times. And I'm very excited to read this because I have loved the 2 other books by this author that I've read. As for what I'm most excited to read, I am most excited to get into Doomickey finally because I've been meaning to read that for quite some time. So excited for that. What have you been reading recently? Any good summertime reads? And it doesn't matter if it's horror or whatnot, any kind of summery books. I'm just curious. And if you enjoyed hanging out today, hit that subscribe button, come back, see me again, and we'll talk about more bookish things and weird stuff.